Brand new action from the Department of Education likely cancels federal student loan debt for 40,000 people. That's the headline you probably heard. But the bigger picture is this. That move also helps more than 350 million borrowers move towards getting their loans actually paid off and forgiven sooner. The biggest piece of context you should know, though, more than 43 million Americans have federal student loans to pay off. So what happens to those people? Everyone who doesn't qualify for the new changes. I'm Ben Briscoe. Let's dig into it. Starting with Natalie Brand answering, who qualifies for the new plan?
The system was rigged for people like me.
Adjunct professor Justine Hope Blau, who graduated film school in 1991, says she borrowed $39,000, but now faces around $260,000 of debt.
I'm 66 and it keeps growing.
She's among the millions of Americans still struggling to pay off student loans. This week, the Department of Education says it's now taking action to help address what it calls historical failures in the administration of federal student loan programs.
The history of this program is that it has been rife with abuses and problems, both on the servicing side and on the Department of Education side.
Persis Yu of the Student Borrower Protection Center calls the acknowledgement step one. The Department of Education says it will review payment timelines and history for borrowers enrolled in public service loan forgiveness plans and income-driven repayment plans. The changes are expected to give 40,000 borrowers immediate forgiveness, and at least 3.6 million borrowers will receive 3 years of additional credit towards income-driven repayment forgiveness.
Unfortunately, the department has not given a timeline on when borrowers will find out what happens. For right now, the answer is to be patient and wait.
Blau still feels misled by her servicers, who she says never told her about income-based repayment options.
Don't leave us behind. We shouldn't be saddled with huge debt for the rest of our lives.
She now urges caution to anyone thinking about taking out a student loan.
The 40,000 whose debt is forgiven meet all these requirements. They work for the government or a nonprofit. They've made at least 120 on-time payments. The others getting relief also work for the government or a nonprofit, but they might have had trouble paying in the past, so they're using an income-driven repayment plan. The action taken by President Biden moves them towards loan forgiveness faster. Even if you aren't included in this credit program, you still don't have to pay for your federal loans back at least until September. Your loans aren't accruing interest either. North Carolina lawmakers have responded to the latest move from the White House. Democrat Alma Adams sent us a statement saying in part, "As we approach the summer months, I am continuing to call on the president to finish the job by canceling up to 50,000 of student loan debt across the board for our struggling borrowers, because we must crush the debt before it crushes our economy." Republican Virginia Foxx says she doesn't like the move either. She said a program that was the brainchild of and expanded by Democrats turned out to be a complete disaster, and taxpayers are forced to fit the bill for their mistakes. Some Republicans in the House filed a bill to end that pause on repayments. The Federal Student Loan Integrity Act would change the Secretary of Education's ability to pause student loan payments. If the bill becomes law, student loan pauses could last no longer than 30 days, and the pause could not stop interest on your payments from accruing. The bill, though, has not made it out of committee. The reason Republicans want payment to pick back up is that it's cost the federal government a whole lot of money. The Department of Education says it's cost about $95 billion in the first 2 years. The Department of Education's fiscal report broke down the pause's impact. Put another way, the pause cost taxpayers about $4.5 billion each month since it started. Think about this. I crunched the numbers today on this. In 1 month, that is more money than taxpayers spent for an entire year to run the cities of Greensboro, High Point, Winston-Salem, Raleigh, and Charlotte combined. That is how much the pause on loans is costing us. The White House hasn't said much about their plans beyond the August deadline, but a spokesperson for the president says he is always looking for ways to ease the burden on student loans. People hoping for more loans to be canceled might be in luck, though, because of the upcoming midterm elections. A CBS News analyst says since the loan repayment deadline is right before people go to vote, it could be a way for Democrats to try to score some points with voters.
It's always difficult to get younger voters to turn out, but especially in a midterm election because it's not the kind of big pomp and circumstance of a presidential election. It's always harder to turn out younger voters for a midterm. So this is the kind of thing that Democrats have been pushing the Biden administration to do so that they can come out and campaign on, look what we were able to accomplish.
The White House has not released a statement or a timeline for what could come next. While we wait to see where student loan forgiveness lands, most financial advisors will give you the same 2 cents.
This was not free money. This money is money that has to be repaid.
Kathy DeWitt Dunn says while payments are frozen and interest is not incurring, it's a great time to keep paying. Knock down that loan. If you can't, spend the time preparing.
Now is really the time for you to refocus on your financial future and get a plan in place to address this.
Want to start updating your information.
CBS business analyst Jill Schlesinger says you should also check out studentaid.gov.
You've got to make sure all of your data is collected the right way. You're signing up for an auto debit. You want to check out your payment options. While it's this very strong labor market, some people maybe are not making as much money. Maybe there's an income-driven repayment plan that's in your future. Compare it, look at it. Don't just do what you had done.
People who qualify for student loan forgiveness can expect a letter in the mail letting them know. If you do get a letter, pay close attention to the fine print there. But don't be fooled either. Scammers will also be reaching out by phone, text, email, all of it. We've seen it before. They're going to do it again. You can expect those phony letters. And if anyone calls or sends a letter saying you have student loans forgiven, think about it twice.
If you are going to do some type of loan forgiveness program, you actually as a student has to initiate that yourself. No one's going to call you and say, we're going to forgive your student loans.
If you get one of the calls, just hang up. Call your school's financial aid office or whoever you get your loans from and verify if the offer is legit. The bottom line, the more recent move from the White House doesn't make a huge impact for most borrowers. A lot can still happen though. This story is nowhere close to over. We likely won't hear the next move until the end of summer.